Today I want to show you how to work on an ultimate double hung that's not tilting out properly. You're supposed to be able to unlock the window, lift it up 3 or 4 inches, and then you're supposed to be able to press the button down and move it the extra little way, and the window's supposed to tilt out. This one has lost its time, or possibly the painter had removed the lock and didn't get back in properly. And I'll show you how to do it right now. First, I'm going to remove the lock by removing the screws. And then I'll remove the lock. Now I'm going to take some needle nose pliers and put it in that hole, and I'm going to grab a hold of that cord that's in there. And I'm just going to keep spinning until, you can't see it right there, but until the release mechanism engages all the way so the sash can be removed. Now that I got it released, you don't want to hold a window like this. You always want to make sure it's completely flat before you take it out. If you hold it like this, or any other position other than this position, the springs inside could launch and break. So we lift straight up, and then we tilt it out, and we'll take it inside. Okay, first I'm gonna remove this cover by using my handy dandy flat screwdriver and lift straight up. And that will expose the mechanism. Since I got extra parts that they sent for me, I'm going to go ahead and replace this cord and tilt latch mechanism. So I'm going to remove this screw, or loosen it to release the cord. Then I'm going to go to this side. And this screw, if you notice, it's got a different color to it. That's because it's got left-handed threads. So to loosen this one, we're going to go right to loosen it instead of left. Now I'm going to remove the mechanism, just like that. The new mechanism is going to be in 3 pieces. And I'll show you how to put that together. The cord is longer than what you need, so just make sure we got an extra bit there, and then we'll cut it. Now I'm going to take the new cord, and I'm going to run it through this channel here. I got my cord ran through there. I'm going to take this piece and run the cord between there and there. Sit it on there. Now that I got that on there, I'm going to rotate this counterclockwise until you hear 2 clicks. Just like that. And now it's ready to be put back in there. So now I'm going to put that back in there, just like that. And then we're going to take the cords, and now we're going to attach them to the tilt latches. Now I'm going to attach this around this way on this side. And when I do that, I'm going to look for this little tiny timing mark right there. That little line that's right there, that's supposed to line up with that right there. And then we tighten that screw onto the cord. So I'm holding it onto that line right there. And then I'm going to take my screwdriver and I'm going to hand tighten it. Be mindful not to over tighten it. They can strip out. Now I'm going to run this way, which is a mirror image from this side. And I'm going to pull on it until my timing mark is right to that edge. And remember, this screw, it's got left-handed threads, so we turn it left to tighten. Both sides tighten. My timing marks are off again because this cord stretched a little bit instead of the mechanism. So while this is under tension, I'm going to go ahead and install my lock. And then I'm going to re-time these to make sure that they're on the money. So while I got this lock off, I want to point out something to you. You need to make sure that the lock is in this configuration with that little leaf spring on top of that. Sometimes when painters, or if someone removes this lock, these components can fall out. And when they assemble it, they put this leaf spring on the wrong side, and the tilt mechanism does not work properly. So make sure it looks just like this, please. Now, with the lock in the locked position, the way you see it here, we want to line that up with the cord. And we need to make sure that this little mechanism ends up in that little spot right there. You may have to tilt the lock slightly in an angle and to get it on the cord, and then turn it to engage. I now have the lock in position, and I made sure that that little piece is underneath the lock. Now I can install the screws. So now go ahead and unlock the window. And if the latch doesn't stay like that and it springs back, that's okay. Just hold it, we'll get the screw in, and once we retime the latches, that'll take care of that. Now that we got the lock installed, now it's time to retime the hardware. Make sure the window is in the unlocked position, and we're going to set these timing marks to there. Okay, now that we got it confirmed, that's lined up. And this one's lined up. We can now trim the remainder of the cord. Okay, now, still with the window in the unlocked position, I readjusted these to where it lines up with the timing marks here and here. And then we're going to reconfirm when we press this button in and move this latch this way, that the latch is clear on both sides. Now go ahead and lock the mechanism, make sure everything's working smoothly, and then when we put it in the unlock position, our timing marks are still there. Now that we've confirmed everything is good, we can put this cover back on. And it only goes on one way. If you try to install it wrong, you'll see that it doesn't line up. So it goes on this way. And then just make sure we're flush on that side. And that side. Just here. And then you just push it down. Before I put that back in the opening, I'm going to take this opportunity to take some pledge. I'm going to go ahead and spray it on a paper towel, a lot of it. And then I'm going to wipe down the weather stripping. And then I'm going to fold it and put it in this track here. And then the same thing for the top sash. Along here on both sides in this little groove. This is going to make a huge difference on how these operate and slide. Now I'm going to move the top sash down. A little difficult to do with one hand, but hold these back and then the top sash will come down. Now that I got that released, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Wipe the weather stripping down and then in here. Now if you want to tilt the top sash inward, if you look, there's a little top latch right here. You can move that back, and then there's one over here. So you need two hands, move it back, and then you can tilt it towards you. Tilt the top sash, and it comes out in the same manner as the bottom sash. But since I got this tilted out, I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is all nice and clean. I'm also going to take this opportunity to show you how to repair a clutch that's stuck at the bottom. Sometimes people will tilt the window out without lifting it up 3 or 4 inches, and this gets stuck at the bottom. Or if you see one that's stuck there and the other one's higher, this should be the same, and I'll show you how to do that right now. We have one stuck down here and the other one is stuck higher. You could either take a tape measure and measure the distance from here to here, or you could take the top side down and just use it as a guide. So you can line it up like this. With a flat screwdriver, we can put it in here, and we're going to simulate the tilting of the sash. Now keep in mind to keep a lot of pressure on the top. The spring is under a lot of tension, so when you turn this thing can spring up and launch. So be very careful, keeping a lot of pressure on it. And we'll just line it up to the bottom of that, and then I'm tilting it back into position, and then we can move that out of the way, and we're ready to put the bottom sash back in. So now we're going to take the sash, we're going to tilt it, and we're going to make sure that these pins go in that slot and that they're above those little clutches in there. And we'll give it a little tap. It's in position. Now we can tilt it up. Now that we got it tilted up, push this little button in, turn that like that, which retracts that, allows it to clear, release the lock like that. Now it's in place, and it goes up and down. Now if you're going to go down and it doesn't go down, more than likely the clutch was not properly engaged with the pin, so you'll have to tilt the sash back out and make sure it's in there properly, and then back in, and then it'll work. You now have the window back in position. You should be able to close the window, and it self-locks, just like that. Unlock the window, and it works. One more note on this window. This window, as of this video in 2018, has been discontinued and updated with a similar version. But I wanted to post this video for other people who have these windows so they can still repair them. This one is their first generation, to where you open the window, you move the lock, and it locks in vent mode, and it doesn't allow you to move the top sash down. So to use this window properly, to get the top sash down, go ahead and make sure the window is all the way down. Sometimes you may have to push and you'll hear a click and a click. Make sure this is all the way up the window. It comes down just like that. And then when you go up, the window automatically locks. With the second generation of this window, it does not have that feature, so it will not do this.